What I'd like to do this afternoon is just to take a few minutes of your time to, as I say, to outline some of those key messages, some of those key achievements, and particularly I think some key messages from the partnership around how life cycle accounting of vehicles is going to become an increasingly important way of measuring the performance of different technologies and fuels, and some of our plans for the next 12 months. And I think the first thing to say is that one of the key roles for the partnership is in stimulating and leading interventions that businesses can make to help this market develop itself. And in the last 12 months, Jonathan Murray, my Deputy Director, has been leading a significant programme of work in conjunction with truck manufacturers, major truck fleets and the government in order to develop a certification scheme that can accredit low carbon and fuel efficient technologies for trucks. One of the key barriers to the development of fuel efficient technologies in the truck sector is quite simply that hauliers don't believe the claims which manufacturers make about those new technologies. And if we can provide an independent verification system to show under what circumstances those claims are real and what kind of improvement can be expected, our research shows that we can deliver in the next 10 years nearly 3 million tonnes of carbon savings at a cost of about £1 a tonne of carbon, remarkably low for the transport sector. We've been developing the detailed plans, working in conjunction with a whole range of stakeholders. Those plans are currently sitting on the Secretary of State's desk, and we're very keen to know the outcomes of his deliberations and hopefully a commitment to go ahead and develop what we think will be one of the world's first certification schemes of its type for truck technologies. That's been an important part of our work over the last year, but another important part of our work has been to encourage industry to make responsible green claims about the vehicles that they're bringing to market. Those of you that were here at our annual conference last year at Twickenham will know that we launched some best practice marketing principles in order to provide some guidance to the industry on the sorts of green claims that were appropriate. We did that with the SMMT and with the advertising industry. And the idea was to reduce the number of inappropriate claims that were being ruled out by the Advertising Standards Agency. Since we introduced that scheme, just 2 advertisements have had to be withdrawn by the ASA, both in the month that we launched the principles. And indeed, in the last 6 months, in fact in the last 9 months, there haven't been any advertisements from vehicle advertisers ruled as inappropriate on a green claims basis. And I think this really shows that voluntary action by industry, led by organisations like LowCVP, can really make a difference in terms of making sure that people are provided with reliable information and that they trust the information that's being given to them by advertisers. We've also done a lot of work working with government on the development of its policies and programmes, in particular with the bus division of the Department for Transport, where we've been supporting their rollout of the Green Bus Fund, something that we helped them develop in earlier years. Probably don't realise, but the UK has now the largest European market for hybrid buses. By the end of this year, nearly 560 buses will be on the road, many of them, as Garrett mentioned earlier, in London. And it really has been by bringing the industry together and working with government that we've enabled that to happen over a remarkably short period of time. And now we hope that the bus manufacturers in the UK will be able to build upon that new market in the UK to take their product to Europe. One of the other key areas that we've been working in has been to support the development of the clean tech small and medium-sized enterprises trying to supply new low carbon technologies into the market. This year we've run a second technology challenge, this time focused on HGVs, which is intended to identify the most promising technologies for improving fuel efficiency. We train the winners on how to pitch to large fleets and to vehicle manufacturers, and then we invite those organisations to a private seminar in which they can discuss and understand more about those innovations. As a result of that programme, we know that several major new business initiatives have commenced between partners who were at that private seminar. And I'm pleased to say that we heard news from our first Technology Challenge winners that one of those companies formed a consortium based upon the competition and has just received £2 million of European funding to take forward the development of their product. So it really does show that by getting industry to work more collaboratively, we can really make a difference to UK industry. In the last year, we've published with the Automotive Council and with BIS some technology manufacturing readiness levels in order to provide a common language for new technology providers and their customers to understand exactly how advanced companies are in developing their technologies and their manufacturing processes. And we recently took 6 small companies to Michelin's Bibendum Challenge event in Berlin to help promote excellence in British engineering and sell some of the technologies of these small UK companies to international markets. So we're doing an awful lot in this space. We're also doing a lot to try to strengthen consumer information, one of the main areas for which many people are aware of LowCVP's work. In the last year, nearly 2 million vehicles have been labelled in car showrooms. The scheme is virtually ubiquitous in all new car dealerships. And I'm pleased to say that in the last few months, we've seen a 25% increase in the number of used cars also being labelled in car showrooms, a scheme that we launched around 18 months ago. We've surveyed the attitudes of consumers in car dealerships to ask them what their impression of the dealership is by them using the label. And around 3/4 say their impression of that dealer is enhanced by their use of the label. And if they're more impressed by the dealer, they're more impressed by the vehicles and they're hopefully more likely to buy them. So this really can be a win-win for everybody. But one of my proudest achievements in the last year is that actually in the last 12 months, LowCVP has managed to save its millionth tonne of carbon since it was set up in 2003. We've been delivering those carbon savings through a whole range of programmes on labelling, on innovation, on biofuels. And we've been doing that at a cost effectiveness of £5 per tonne of carbon. And I sometimes tell our government funders, if you can find somebody that saves carbon in the transport sector more cheaply, then I'm happy for them to have my grant. The value that members provide to the partnership is enormous. We calculate that the value of member contributions, both in cash and in kind, is nearly double the value of our £600,000 of public funding that we received last year, worth nearly £1.3 million in 2010-11. And this is really being leveraged to provide a lot of free expert advice, consultancy into government departments in order to help them to develop their policies and programmes and understand the issues of developing the market. On average, we met with a government department or team on at least once a week throughout the year. And I think it does show that we are really trying to provide value to our funders in what are clearly difficult, straitened times for the public sector. In the last few days, one of the key announcements that we've made has been around work that we've been undertaking on the life cycle emissions of vehicles. Led for us by Ricardo Engineering, this work really dispels the myth that low carbon technologies simply displace carbon emissions elsewhere. And as the slide shows, it really does illustrate that on a whole life carbon basis, electric and plug-in vehicles really can be lower carbon than their gasoline or diesel equivalents. But the work also shows that for low carbon vehicles, the amount of energy and carbon embedded in producing those vehicles is significantly more than a conventional gasoline. 23% of the life cycle emissions for a conventional vehicle are in manufacturing. That rises to nearly 1/3 for a hybrid vehicle and nearly 1/2 for an electric vehicle. What this work is showing us is that if we want to move forward and really decarbonise transport, we not only need to decarbonise our electricity grids, but we also have to decarbonise the ways in which our vehicles are manufactured by using light, low-weight materials and also by making sure that the batteries and other components are manufactured in a low carbon way. And that's why we've been so pleased to hear over the last few days announcements by companies like Toyota building a solar array to develop to power their hybrid Oris production line, and initiatives such as Nissan's, who are developing a wind farm to power the Nissan Leaf factory. But what's clear is as we go forward, we're going to have to develop life cycle measures of carbon performance for vehicles so that we can compare vehicles on a like-for-like basis. Another area that the partnership has been working in recently has been preparing a response to the government's Renewable Energy Directive consultation. The partnership has consistently argued that there are no silver bullets to decarbonising transport, and we've heard that time and time again today. And what we need is a portfolio of policies and technologies to deliver that answer. We do strongly support the move to electrified transport, but we also believe that other fuels and other solutions are going to compete in different market segments for market share. And that's likely to be continuing for the foreseeable future. And that includes liquid biofuels. Biofuels can and are being produced very sustainably, and new regulations which are coming in by the end of this year will eliminate the most unsustainable fuels from the market, and that will be a big step forward. However, it's also clear that we're going to need to go further, and many partnership members believe that we will have to tackle the issues of indirect land use change within the regulations in order to bring confidence of the public and our politicians that biofuels really can be sustainable and deliver good greenhouse gas savings. Many partnership members are concerned that the current government policies towards biofuels are rather contradictory. The government is declining to set a long-term framework to support biofuels, but at the same time it's all because it is concerned about the sustainability issues. But at the same time it's not incentivising those biofuels with the best greenhouse gas savings or the best sustainability performance, many of which are actually produced in the UK. We think that as the government introduces the Renewable Energy Directive and the Fuel Quality Directive in the next few months, it needs to make sure that the market really values the additional greenhouse gas savings and sustainability of the best biofuels. And the current proposals sadly don't do that. We also think that the government needs to support a portfolio of new technologies and fuels without diluting the efforts which are currently going on to develop electrification. And that includes supporting biofuels, both current generations and advanced, hydrogen, biomethane, and other alternatives that might develop. So where will we be focused in the next year? Well, the 6 bullets on the slide indicate the areas in which our work programme is now focused. One of the key things we'll be doing is trying to strengthen consumer information, and we're just starting a work programme developed with the Cabinet Office and the Department for Transport to look at how vehicle labelling can be further improved, both to give better consumer information and to help to relay the lower running costs of some electric vehicles. We hope to be taking forward our work programmes on HGVs, hopefully with ministerial agreement in the next few weeks. And we'll certainly also be looking to continue our work with small and medium-sized enterprises with a third technology challenge and also a major investor event that we'll be running with the SMMT and Pricewaterhouse in the autumn. We also expect to be doing more work on developing a life cycle metric of greenhouse gas savings, the work that I described earlier. And we'll also be taking forward further work that you saw from Element Energy on that fascinating exploration of what the actual costs of ownership of different vehicles and technologies will be as we go forward. There are multiple benefits for membership of the Low Carbon Vehicle Partnership. Different people are members for different reasons. If you're not a member, I do hope you'll speak to me or one of my team during the remainder of today's conference and hopefully join up and begin participating. Thank you very much.